Hello everyone, and welcome again to my channel, Nature Speaks to You. And my name is Sarah Beth, and I decided to do a reading today for the collective. I wanted to see what they had to say and what messages I could bring to everyone. So I was getting prepared, and I was like, okay, so last week I did a 2020 rune reading for the collective, so today I want to do something a little different. And so as I was looking at all the different decks that were on the table, I felt drawn to a particular card, which I have out in front of us before we even get started, which is the zebra. So today's message is brought to you by our little zebra helper. And so this is kind of what the message is, where it's coming from. So the zebra down here, what it says on the deck, and I do want to say this is the Stephen D. Farmer deck. And it's messages from your animal and spirit guides. Down here, the message that he's chosen to share on the deck with you is let go of your fear and know that you are safe and protected at all times. For me too, when I see the zebra, I always think of like that duality, that black and white, and how when we can kind of come to a place of peace and see that even though things are different, they're still one, and that there's perfection in differences, that's a beautiful thing. That's kind of why we're here, I think, sometimes. But that's the zebra for me. And everyone's going to have a different meaning. And I really just cannot stress enough to everyone to attain knowledge. Go out, see what other people have to say and what the information is that has come before you in the traditional symbology. And then if there's something particular that speaks to you about that particular animal or symbol or anything, stick with it and just trust your intuition and trust that that gut and that message, because that's your language with the universe, and it's important to develop that language that you speak to them and they speak to you and provide you a lot of information. So right now, the first card that kind of is drawn to, okay, is this downtime in this rat running in the rat race, right? So here's the hamster in the hamster wheel, the rat in the rat race, however you want to look at this. But one thing I will say is a lot of people have been blessed with a lot of downtime this year. And I think it is drawing people to really look at themselves and look at what's going on. Like, how do you actually spend your time? And that's something that can be tough for certain people. A lot of people last year, when we first kind of had a lot more time in, a lot of people had time inside, actually having that downtime was like crazy for people, because they're like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I do. And so it's important to go back to that inner space, I think, for a lot of people, and to go back to that blessing. And so down the bottom, you see that full tank right there. So to me, that's also saying, like, take this time. You got a full tank. Like, you can spend this time any way you want to do it. Who are you? How do you want to spend your time? What do you want to do? And so too, you got the flowers over here, and there's a bird flying up in the top. And so to me, that's also a call for a lot of people to get outside, And even though I know we're coming into the winter right now, here it is November, but in Massachusetts, I should add, but just the same, I don't want to line that up. I don't know why, but I do. It's kind of glowing, right? So it's got this little halo. So the halo from the light that I'm recording with tonight, because I'm in my office and it's not as bright in here in the evening time. So I decided to use this, but I like how it's this halo. So the downtime of not being in that same place as maybe you've always been, running around work to work, job to job, go, 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 go. There's less activities, less places open. You can do less. So how is that downtime a blessing? So that's the first thing that really I am drawn to mention about this. And there's a lot more going on in this card, but those are the first things I was kind of just drawn to mention. And so as I have the deck here, and again, this deck that I'm pulling from, this is the Good Vibes deck, and I wanted to use this deck because I think we all need a lot of good vibes. So trust your vibes. I love it. It's one of my favorite decks because there's a lot of pictures to look at. I love looking at pictures and seeing the different symbols and things. And this is just the card it's just saying, come on, bring me out here. Oh, it's a team effort. So this is kind of interesting. So it's a team effort, and it's really interesting that sometimes you see these plugs and you think, oh, energy, awesome. Well, to me, it's also a remembrance to not become imbalanced by the time on the phone or on the computer. And yes, I know you're here watching this reading and I'm saying, get off the computer, get off the phone. But it's more being aware of that time and how your energy is affecting it, or how it's affecting your energy. So what stands out to me is that the two plugs in these, they are located in the heart chakra area and then in the solar plexus area. So it's important, I think, for people to pay attention to those areas of the body and the I am presence in the heart and manifesting. And are we manifesting or possibly picking up on other people's energy that we're being exposed to on social media and all those different places? So to me, this is mindfulness, and it's also finding other people who are like-minded to start new ventures, to start new things, to build from the bottom up, because I think there's going to be a lot of people that will be taking new directions. So I definitely feel that. What's really interesting too is the downtime card. There's the number 3 on the bottom, and then this one we have the 3 and the 7. So how that kind of stands out to me is like, okay, you have 1 3. Well, now you have another 3 because you have your team effort. And the 7, that's your good luck and your abundance. And so by working together with other people right now and like-minded people and being aware of who you share your energy with, and it doesn't mean if people are different than you, then don't share your no, we're not going there. It's an awareness. It's different when there's an awareness of who we share our energy with and how that affects us. And if we are aware, then we can take certain precautions and certain steps, whether it's just doing a little grounding exercises or saying, okay, I can definitely spend a little bit of time with this person, but maybe I can't spend as much time as I was because I notice that I start to not feel so good. I feel anxious, or I start to not sleep right and things like that. So I wish I knew this a long time ago, because I definitely now am more aware of how other people's energy can affect me and how quickly I can start to blend with someone else's energy almost by accident. And that's something that I think is pretty common for people. And again, sometimes it's completely by accident. You just don't realize that it's easy to do. One common example I can give for this is if you've ever had a friend and all of a sudden you notice that the two of you laugh almost the same and you're like, oh, how did that happen? Well, your energies are blending. You're starting to do things and mimic each other. We pick those things up. That's just human nature. And so being aware of who we are as humans and how that can be a plus or a minus, right? So we've had some more downtime. The tank is full. It's a team effort, being aware, maybe as a group going outside more with like-minded people and going outside more with your friends, and having that buddy system accountability for outside time and for fresh air. Buddy systems can work great. We have a good system between our little group. We definitely have had our little crew together that we've stayed together, and it's just been us and only us, and very small little group. And it's cool because we can bounce ideas and we can motivate each other and like-minded people. So it's interesting because I'm actually drawn to this card that's like upside down. So I have to go for it. So this is the one that I'm drawn to, and it's actually upside down. So very interesting that I just felt like, okay, I can't pull this one right side up. So name your higher self. So that's really interesting. And guess what? We have another 3. So I'm going to turn this upside down just so that we can look at it. But just a reminder that I'm going to read this card how I feel it should be translated, but as if I was still holding it upside down. So just to kind of help you out here. So name your higher self. So to me, I feel as though even though this was at the end, it's kind of like a new beginning. So by doing these different things, we're going to actually come into this place, I think, collectively, and individually. So, because as individually we grow, the collective grows as well, right? And so, and it's kind of cool. I just saw that like a little weaving. Sorry, side note, total squirrel moment, but I had to share. So, this little kind of weaving energy between as we rise, the collective rises as well. And so for this one, I feel as though this is where we're all headed, is we're going to sit there and be like, okay, we're elevated. Who are we? What do we want to do? How are we getting there? And it's really cool. So if we look close, see what he's got going on here? So you've got the arrow pointing at the self and the clock, right, up in the corner. So like looking at the self, the book, the scroll, the pen, the doorway, the shadow. So there's a lot going on. Look at this. Look at the road going through the heart. And so as I'm drawn to this, the first thing I want to say is keep learning, keep attaining knowledge. Knowledge is power. Right is letting go of things that no longer serve us. Doorways, pay attention. Some are open for a reason. Some are also closed for a reason. And how does our free will affect that? And so with this last card, to me, I feel like this is where we're headed. Again, this is where we're going. As a collective, we are coming into a place where we're going to be able to name our higher self and do more self-work, have more time, and really manifest that life that we're ready for, right? We are so ready. And so it's cool down there. You've got that 5, and so we've had 3 3 3. Okay, so 3 3 3 on the bottom of these cards, 3 on your downtime. First number on it, the team effort, is a 3. And then here we go again, we've got 35. So your 3 3 3, to me, that's always having your ascended masters. You have everything in your corner. You're fully supported by the higher ups. You've got that triangle, that steady, sturdy strength key doorway to kind of go through. So I love that. And then the 5 is really interesting because I see that as like unexpected blessings coming in, and also like the root of change. And so I kind of look at the 5s and the 6s of that blend of change and blessings, and the blessings that change bring about. And that's where that shadow is down there. Sometimes in order to make change, we got to look at the icky parts, the parts we necessarily don't want to admit, right? But they're good conversations to have. And that's where we go back to, it's a team effort too, because when you have people to talk to that you can trust, that goes a long way. And so find people that you can trust. If you can't trust the people that you're around, go out and meet new people. Adopt a dog. I tried that 4 times. I lucked out 3 out of the 4. Just kidding. They're all good. Blaney, I love you, but he's a very special boy. Anyone who knows me and hearing this reading is probably laughing hysterically right now. For those of you who don't know who Blaney is yet, you will soon. So, to wrap up this little reading, and I know we're going on 13 minutes here, and they're supposed to be 10 minutes, but I digressed a couple times. This is our collective reading for right now, and this was brought to you by the zebra, and letting go of fear and seeing that we are all one. And so I'm going to come in here a little closer for anyone who wants to kind of get a good shot of these cards. And the other thing I will say is there's a lot of movement in here, a lot of passion, right? A lot of self. And see how also, like, you have the 2 selves, like the dark and the light in the second and a third card. And so you've got the really light body in the second, and in the third you've got that shadow body. And so remember how I said there's that change and that blessing through change. So just remember that wherever you are right now, there can always be something. There can always be some type of change. And if we embrace that change and we come to it from a place of love, you never know what's going to be hiding around the next corner. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, and have a great night.